going to call to order this special meeting of the Miami Special Utility Authority for Tuesday, July 22nd, 5:30 p.m. The second item is Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll please join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item number 3 is public input and unscheduled personal appearances. Is there anyone in the audience that wants to address the council on any of the agenda items? And if you're named for an agenda item, you don't need to come up at this time. Anybody want to discuss any of the agenda items? There being none, item 4 is the consent agenda. Staff is recommending that we approve items 5 through 10 of the consent agenda.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to include items 5 through 10 on the consent agenda.
Second.
And we have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Johnson?
Aye.
Weston?
Aye.
Sharbit?
Aye.
Schultz?
Aye. Item number 11, request for, item number 10, approve, nope, 10 was covered in this consent agenda. Item number 11, request for special dispensation beyond approved policies on utility bill for sanitation charges by citizen Josh Sharbit, 128 North Main. Josh, come on up. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are
Good.
you doing?
Tell us what's going on.
Well, we moved into 128 North Main a little over a year ago.
Is that a house?
No, we're a small business,
Okay.
a new small business here in town. We are sharing a dumpster, or we're sharing a dumpster with 3 other businesses right there on the same block, and we were being charged for the full dumpster for the duration of our time up until the very end. For a full year, we were charged for a full dumpster there, and it was brought to my attention by another individual. I had noticed it, but I didn't. I was a new business owner, and I just thought that was what the charge was as far as being a business goes. And she brought it to my attention that, if we were sharing the dumpster, that we should not have been charged that amount of money for sharing a dumpster with other businesses. So that's what I'm coming up here for today.
And the, this agenda item doesn't have a difference, but there was an amount listed originally. Is that the difference? What is your request specifically, Josh, in dollars?
Well, my total for the year, I have a printout here, and I made a copy if you'd
Okay.
like to see it.
Yes, please. Thank you.
My total for the year was $960.59, and I know that the charge that I was supposed to be charged was somewhere in the neighborhood of 19 and some change. I'm not exactly sure what that amount is, but the difference was roughly $727.43. The number that I thought it was is $19.43 a month is what I should have been charged, and I was being charged $77.62 and then $83.45 when the increase came to play.
Okay.
The one that showed the difference, it showed the amount.
Just tell me which slide.
Keep going.
Next, was it?
Next one.
There you go.
Okay, there we go. Thank you.
That looks better.
And is this the same dumpster issue that I'm not talking to you, Josh, I'm asking Jeff. Is this the same dumpster issue that we've talked about in prior meetings?
I'm going to have to ask Amber. Amber, is this the same?
Amber?
Is it the same type of issue?
It's similar, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So there was a collection of businesses there that were all sharing a dumpster, but they were all paying separately as if they had the full responsibility for the dumpster. Is that the correct way to say it? Or come on up, Joe.
Yes, and they're still paying separately. Each one of them pays their own part.
Okay.
But yes, it's part of that same group.
And is the amount on this bill that Josh presented me, currently the amount is $83.45. Is that the full amount or is that the partial amount?
Full amount.
Okay.
And we was dumping him one time a week, which is what that amount is.
Okay. So you were dumping that dumpster,
In that alley, there's 4 2-yard metal dumpsters.
okay?
We was dumping it, we're now dumping it 4 times because everybody has broke down into paying for 4, where we was dumping it 6 times in that one alley. Because he was paying for a dump, and then the other one that we done a couple months ago was paying for a dump. So that alley was actually getting serviced 6 times a week, to where now it's only getting serviced 4 times a week.
So is this 8345 the correct amount for that
Yes.
dumpster for his address for 4 times a week?
It would be 1 time a week, 4 times a
okay.
month.
Okay. So where's the discrepancy? There's a discrepancy in Josh's mind, because he thinks that he's paying a full amount for a dumpster.
Correct. He's paying for 1 can by himself, when it was the 83, which we have reduced it down to where he is sharing now.
Which through the duration, I was still sharing with the other 3 businesses. So they were paying the shared amount, and I was the only one paying the full amount. And that's what I didn't understand, and that's where my discrepancy was.
Is that, according to your records, Joe, does that jive with what they were being billed compared to what Josh was being billed?
Yes. But the cans, there's 4 cans in that alley, in that stretch of the alley. It was being dumped 1 more time. So he was paying for a complete dump.
For an additional
dump.
call, if you
and
will.
We was dumping it.
Whether he
one
needed it
extra
or
time.
not, we
Whether-
were doing it, and so somebody was going to pay for it,
Correct.
according to our policy.
Correct.
Okay. Any thoughts or questions? I mean, I think I understand the situation.
Jeff, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask Amber to come up. Amber, could you tell us when they get a new service, what happens and what you...
When we set a new service and everyone that sets a new service signs the application, we do also give them paperwork stating if they have any questions with their sanitation, what day it's picked up, if they want a different type of service that they need to call the solid waste department. And we do give them paperwork with the phone number. We've notified them that they will have a charge. We don't know what it would be exactly, but to call the solid waste department if they had any questions at time of service.
But there's 3 other people using that dumpster getting charged 19 something.
And that would be questions for the
that-
solid waste department.
Is that correct?
Well, it's 20.
Or whatever that price
Yeah,
is?
it's 20 and some change. I don't know the exact
There's
number.
3 of them getting charged $20 and some change, and one getting charged $80 and
Yes.
something.
Mr. Mayor,
That-
may I ask a
Yeah,
question?
David.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, David.
Thank you. Whichever of the 2 of you is best prepared to answer it, or both. When people pay money for a dumpster, are they paying, I don't know, are they paying for their own dumpster or the right to use a dumpster? I'm trying to figure out how this would happen to
I guess it would
begin
be their
with.
dumpster because we don't own the dumpsters at the
Okay.
businesses. The 2-yard metal dumpsters. The business owns those.
So they own their own dumpster.
Correct.
So what are they paying, what is the customer paying for?
To have it dumped.
Well, that's what I was picking up on.
But 3 of them's paying $20 and something, and one's paying 80 something.
Sounds like it's
Sounds like
gotten,
the same situation.
it's gotten hybridized somehow, so I don't, and that's whenever you mentioned you went from 6 dumps a week
Right, in that alley.
to 4,
Correct.
and when you say that alley, you don't just mean this dumpster?
No,
or-
I mean, in that alley. The dumpster that he is using is one dumpster.
Okay.
There's like 4 people using it. It's dumped twice, which is what? 3 of them is paying for it to be dumped once, and then he's paying for it to be dumped this second additional time, I guess.
And Josh, you're saying you don't need it dumped that often?
No, sir. I've unknowingly had that second dump, and had I known, it would have been something that I would have fixed prior. You know, of course, a long time ago. I didn't know what the charge was supposed to be for a business. I assumed that it would be a little bit more expensive than a personal dumpster, but I didn't really evaluate the situation until it was brought to my attention.
Amber, you said a minute ago that we give them paperwork and tell them that there's going to be a charge, but we don't really tell them what that charge is going to be. Why is that? Why would we not know?
In my office, well, because sanitation does their own charges outside of my office. So
Okay.
if anyone makes a change to the pickups, to how many cans,
Okay.
anything like that, it actually goes through the solid waste department.
Okay, so it's not that the city doesn't know, it's just that your office doesn't know what sort of usage they're gonna have. And so
Exactly.
when you get that feedback from sanitation, once it's established, or if it's changed.
Yes, I mean, we essentially don't want to make changes for the department that's going to handle all of their billing, all of their pickups, everything like that.
Okay.
But we do hand out the paperwork that states, if they have questions, to contact the solid waste department.
So what did the gentleman think, what did you think you were paying for, sir?
I don't
When you
understand the
signed,
question.
well, when you initially signed up for service, what did you think you were buying? What did you think you were paying for?
I figured I was paying for, waste, just like I do at home.
Okay?
I was not under the impression that that entire dumpster I was responsible for, or a dump off of that dumpster per week or however many times a month. I just, I figured since there were so many, others using it, that it would be divided up, but I didn't know what that charge was.
For all you knew, the charge was $320 a month, and you were just paying
Yeah.
a
I
fourth
was
of
just
that.
paying it, yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And again, I didn't mean to get carried away, but
No, that's
trustees,
fine.
if that clarified any, it did for me. It doesn't help me inform advice. I don't really have legal advice on the point.
And so, Amber, we've had a couple of situations that were all involved downtown recently. One was the, I don't want to call it beauty shop, beauty school, or if that's the proper term. And we made an adjustment to her bill. She was the one that actually had the dumpster chained up. This is the same alley, different dumpster, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay. And then what was the other situation that we had in that alley? Did we have another one recently?
It's in a different alley.
Okay,
They had 2 polycarts. She said she only had 1.
okay, that's right, okay. So this is that same alley, but it's not the same dumpster
Correct.
as the, school, okay. I mean, beyond the issue of this particular issue, I'm trying to figure out how do we make sure we don't have this confusion going forward, whether it's on the residents' part or the city's part.
And we are in the process of updating our service application that will specifically state at this time when you are setting services, the sanitation charge is X amount of
X.
dollars.
And-
And if you have questions, to contact the solid waste
Okay,
department.
but not only what the amount is, but does it articulate? and
The
that's-
service as
That's
well.
4 dumps a week of a dumpster that you're sharing with someone, or?
Yes.
I mean, if I had a business downtown, I would want to know that.
Yeah, I mean, we will write down the charge of the monthly sanitation and what the service is,
And they would sign off on
and they
that.
would sign, yes.
Doug, do you have any
Well,
questions?
that's what needs to happen. I know we've changed our number of dumpsters that we have at our work and the number of pickups, and so we're aware of how many times they're picking it up each week. And, I mean, I think that you need to have a little responsibility of knowing how many times it is gonna be picked up, but at the same time, we should communicate the cost to you as well, so you know what you're being charged.
Yes, sir.
And what it's for.
Yeah, that's what we're working on now.
Yeah.
so.
Have we, done any kind of, well, never mind. Okay, any other questions?
I have none, Mayor.
Josh, do you have anything you want to add?
No, sir.
or Amber or Joe or anybody? Okay.
I was going, when did you find out you were being overcharged and how did that all happen?
Well, actually, at a point, probably within the first 6 or 7 months, I mean, just to be perfectly honest with you, I didn't really ever break down the bill. When it came, I paid it. I didn't really, you know, it was never astronomical as far as any different from the month before or the month after. Not a lot of change, so I just paid it. I didn't look at the individual charges, which, no, it's not very responsible as a business owner, but I did notice it prior to being approached by somebody saying, look at your sanitation charges, but I never did anything about it. To be honest, I was busy, and I didn't, it wasn't that important to me until I knew the difference of what I should have been paying, or what I thought I should have been paying, and what I was actually paying, and that comes out to a, you know,
Sizable amount.
a sizable amount of money. Yes, sir.
And the other three that, if I remember you saying, the other three are paying the $20 or whatever it is.
Yes, sir. As far as I know, yes.
You know that, Amber?
Again, that was
Joe?
a question I would direct over to.
Joe, the other three co-tenants are paying $20 or something, is that correct? Co-users? Okay, all right.
Okay.
And Josh, are you still there?
No, we actually recently just moved
Okay.
to a
So
different.
you just relocated the business?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Just right down the road, actually. So bigger
And
building.
do you know what your sanitation bill is where you are now?
Haven't got one yet, but
Well,
I'm
let's
assuming.
make sure you look at it very closely next month. And if you have any questions, we'd like to know about them right away, or Amber would.
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we grant an adjustment in the form of a credit to Mr. Sharbut's sanitation bill until it gets used up,
In the amount of,
$783.04.
was that what the difference was?
Now, that's not what he's asking for necessarily, but that's what I'm moving. That's the dollar amount. I don't know if if he's asking for a refund. Are you asking for a refund specifically, or
No, sir.
just some consideration in some form?
I would ask for a credit if that would be
Okay.
available.
Then that's my motion.
I'll second, Mayor.
Roll call, please.
Schultz,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Weston,
Aye.
Sharbutt,
Abstain.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you very much.
Next item is staff reports. Any particular staff reports? There being none, trustee and community announcements. The only announcement I have is we are going to be talking about the Civic Center in our next meeting. We are going to have an executive session prior to that, though. So if you're here tonight specifically for that, I apologize. There'll be a little bit of a delay in between. If you're watching on TV, you won't notice. It will just be a minor blip in the screen as this is being recorded for rebroadcast tomorrow and next week. Any other announcements?
Nothing,
Nope.
Chairman.
Okay, item 14, future agenda planning. I don't think we have anything. Item 15 is adjournment. Do we have a motion to
Motion to
adjourn?
adjourn.
And a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Sharbutt,
Aye.
Weston,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye. Thank you. We are adjourned, and we are now calling to order the regular meeting of the City Council for Tuesday, July 22nd. Second item is public input and unscheduled personal appearances. Is there anyone in the audience that wants to address the council on any of these agenda items? And again, if you're already listed on the agenda next to that item, you don't need to come forward at this time. There being none, item 3 is a consent agenda. Staff is recommending items 4 through 13. Are there any concerns about any of those items, or do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve items 4 through 13 in the consent agenda.
And a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Johnson.
Aye.
Sharbutt.
Aye.
Weston.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye. Item number 4 is, Item number 14 is approved letter of commitment to provide in-kind services to Modoc Tribe of Oklahoma to improve streets which service their facilities. Chuck?
Here's the updated letter.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. The Modoc Tribe is applying for a grant to fix up the streets in and around the stables. Those are public streets there, and they're asking for our letter of support in that. And in our letter, we're committing via this letter to assist them with that project in a variety of ways, subject to this fiscal year and not to exceed $30,000.
And I assume that's a really good deal for us.
Yes, it is. They're projecting, again, getting grants, and just any grant, there's usually some contribution, and the dollar amounts that they're fixing up, even a small portion, that would be a very good thing for us.
Okay. Any more questions for Chuck?
No. Thank you.
And I think they're asking for a motion
Motion to approve.
and a second.
Second?
Roll call.
Sharpit,
Aye.
Weston.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Thank you.
There's that letter signed. And item number 15, approve mayor's reappointment of Nancy G. for the library board. Nancy served on that forever, and we appreciate it, and she's willing to continue on, which is a good thing for us. So I would put her name forth as my nominee.
Motion to approve.
And a second.
Second.
Roll call.
Sharpit,
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Weston.
Aye.
Thank you. Item 16, approve fee waiver resolution in the amount of $37.50 and a contract with Miami Elks Lodge number 1320 for smoking on Route 66 barbecue championship, September 5th and 6th, 2014 at the Fairgrounds Grandstand Arena. Shelley, how are you tonight?
I'm good, thank you.
Tell us what's going on.
This is our second year doing it. We did it last year, but last year we just had the barbecue championship. This year we are doing the championship, and then Saturday afternoon, after the judging is over with, before the awards, we're going to start kind of a family festival with Taster's Choice. We've got vendors that are coming out, the helicopter ride, we've got them coming out. We're going to have a movie night at the park again down there, and all of the proceeds to this event go towards the backpack program. We have adopted the Head Start and the Miami High School because they're the only facilities within Miami that do not have any help for the children taking nutritious snacks and things home with them. Not only do we provide them with the nutritious snacks, but also any siblings that are not already covered from another school or DHS for the backpack program as well. Within this, our total cost after our 25 barbecue teams, we're in the process of getting sponsors for, is roughly about $3,000. And that's not including the fairgrounds fees.
Right.
If the city chooses to waive or what the choice is. There's going to be hotel revenue brought in. We can partner up with the Super 8 we did last year. Each team has to have a specific judge. So if we have 25 teams, we have to have 25 judges, and I already have 30 signed up right now. The judges I have signed up come from Illinois, they come from Texas, they come from all over. So we'll have them staying at least 2 days. With that, we'll have additional revenue from the restaurants and hopefully different vendors and items like that as well. If the city decides to donate the fairgrounds for our use, obviously the city would be as one of the major sponsors with that and all of the collateral and everything.
And you said this is the second year?
This is our second year.
And did we waive anything last year?
You waived both days last year, yes, sir.
Okay, and you're asking for 2 days again this year, is
Yes,
that
sir.
correct? And it's a little bit longer event, but it's because it's stretching into the evening?
That is correct.
What you said? Okay.
But as far as the facility use, it is the same, that is correct, but the, well, no, we are going longer, excuse me, but as far as the water or electricity or other items, it will be the same as it was last year,
Okay.
because the teams will stay at the same time.
Will alcohol be served there?
Yes, we have applied for our license, and we'll be selling beer only.
Sounds like a good deal.
Good deal to me.
You get free samples down there?
You can have anything, you can have all you want, I promise.
All you want, okay. Barbecue.
The concern that we've had of late is with respect to events like this isn't so much the fee, it's making sure the facility is left in as good a condition as it was when you got it. And so I would just ask you to work with Amanda. We want to encourage this event, and so just make sure that everybody helping you with these events understands that's really important to us if we grant these waivers, that when we talk to city staff afterwards, that they assure us that, yes, it was really left in nice condition. If we have to send, 2 or 3 people down there to clean up afterwards, that's an additional expense to the taxpayers, and we want to avoid that. So,
Absolutely.
So please just reinforce that to whoever is helping you with this event, okay?
Absolutely.
Another question.
yeah,
We'll
go
have
ahead.
insurance.
Yes. As a matter of fact, because this is a Kansas City Barbecue Society sanctioned event, and we did get the proclamation from the governor's office, we have to send KCBS an actual proof of insurance before we can even have the barbecue championship or anything out there. So absolutely, yes, we will.
Thank you.
And David, all the vendors are required to collect sales tax. Is that true?
Typically, yes. Now, whether they will or not, I don't know.
They do or will?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, absolutely, yes.
Any other questions?
Sounds like-
Do we have a motion
Motion approved.
and a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Weston.
Aye.
Sharbit.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye. Thank you, Shelley.
Thank you, Council.
Item 17, fee waiver in amount of $180 for Carter Blevins Memorial Softball Tournament. Jessica Baker. Jessica, see, it wasn't that hard.
I'm nervous though. So if I need help, am I help?
You got
There
reinforcements.
you go.
Okay. I'm here.
Pull the mic down just a little bit there so we can hear you. There you go.
Is that good?
Good.
Okay, I'm here on behalf of the family of Carter Blevins. We're trying to reserve the softball fields for a tournament.
You're all right. I can tell you, Mayor, I've been up there, and that is the hardest spot to be in.
Well,
It's
and
very
that's-
difficult. Just, you're
She's-
okay. Take your time.
She's very good friends with the parents. Carter passed away not long after he was born, and we're wanting to do a memorial tournament to raise money for funeral costs, to offset, stuff like that for them. And if there is any leftover, they're wanting to try to put it towards finding a cure, or if there's a child that has some kind of a heart problem that needs a surgery that can't afford it, they want to set some of that aside to help. And it'll all be in Carter's name.
Okay. Jeff, is there a way that we can do this where it falls under our insurance?
I will just go ahead and say that the funeral cost has already been covered.
Okay.
I did not know that.
Generally, Your Honor, these events, when they provide insurance, it allows us to be additional insured. I think you're probably, because you're the owner of the property, you've got some attachment to an event. These would
Okay.
be referred to as invitees
Okay.
and guests, so you probably would have some coverage. The difference is that you do have a substantial deductible. And when we ask for an additional insured on a policy, it helps us protect that gap. And I don't want to defame the legal profession, but you never know what kind of
Right.
situation you're going to run into when you have a casualty.
They could get a couple day or however long now. Couldn't they not get insurance through a local?
Possibly.
It may be possible to find somebody who's willing to donate money to help pay for a quick policy. And you would only have to be, if the council wanted to, you'd really only have to have it in the amount of our deductible. And unfortunately, I couldn't tell you what our deductible is on liability off the top of my head, but it's substantial. 50,000.
Sorry.
I think it's 50,000.
Okay. Any questions? I make a motion to approve the fee waiver request, the amount of $180. Do we
Thank
have a
you.
second?
I'm sorry.
I said thank you.
I'll second, Mayor.
Don't thank me yet. Look, roll call.
So a point of order, they will be required to have.
I'm gonna talk with them afterwards about it, but, that was not part of my motion.
Okay. Okay, Schultz,
Aye.
Weston.
Aye.
Sharbit,
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
It's been approved, but I need your phone number.
Okay,
Okay? Or
that's fine.
yours or your mom's.
Okay, thank you.
Item number 18, Peoria Tribe Sanitary Sewer Update. Amanda, get their number so they don't have to stay the whole time just to give me their number. I mean, you're welcome to stay if you want, but you don't have to.
Thanks, Mayor. Just a routine update. Want to keep you posted on the Peoria Sanitary Sewer Project. As you recall, back in April, there was a resolution, and in that resolution, a commitment to purchase an interest in that sewer after the tribe constructed it. They're constructing it. Actually, as of the date on this slide is wrong. It was last Tuesday, so that'd be the 15th before the packets were due. The Peoria tribe is still trying to secure all the easements and a permit from ODOT. I actually saw the chief today, and that still continues to be the case.
Great. Any questions for Chuck?
I have none, Mayor.
I appreciate you keeping us updated, Chuck.
Thank you.
Thank you,
So
Chuck.
we know exactly where that process stands. Item number 19, new business. Any new business?
No new business, Your Honor.
Item 20, staff reports. Any staff reports
No.
other than what Chuck gave us? 21, mayor and council committee announcements. Do we have any announcements? Item 22 is executive session. Do we have a shorter thing than that I can? There it is. Neil, you want to read that? We're going to adjourn upstairs for executive session. So if there's anybody in the audience that wants to stay until we come back out to talk about the last few remaining agenda items, you're welcome to stay here in this room.
Mayor, I move that the council entertain executive session pursuant to 25 ODOT-S Section 307B3 for the purpose of discussing the purchase or appraisal of real property, and pursuant to 25 ODOT-S 307B2 for discussing negotiations concerning employees and representatives of employee groups, to wit, International Association of Firefighters and the Fraternal Order of Police, and pursuant to 25 ODOT-S Section 307B4 for confidential communications with the city attorney concerning a pending investigation of claims.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Johnson?
Aye.
Sherman?
Aye.
Weston?
Aye.
Schultz?
Aye. There wasn't actually, that wasn't even on the agenda, was it?
No, this is just.
You're just hopeful, wishful thinking?
I would consider it unethical to talk about the process to replace me.
Right, that's what I'm saying, is there anyone else?
I think the chief of police is the best person to answer that. Ready to, well, let me get my agenda back in front of me. Okay, we're ready. Okay, we are back out of executive session. Item 23 is direction to the city attorney regarding the pending claim for Adolfo Ramirez and Felipe Lopez. David, I think you have what you're going to do on that.
I know what to do.
Okay.
Not requesting any formal action at this time.
Okay. Item number 4 is Miami Civic Center renovation update. At the start of the meeting, I promised that if you were patient, we would have some presentation for you. But during our executive session, one of the things that was discussed was real estate, and the information we got, we realized we needed some additional information before we could kind of make an informed presentation to the public and an informed decision for ourselves. So we're going to postpone that for a little while staff gathers some additional information. Item 25 is future agenda planning. Mr. Bishop, anything under that item that you know that we need?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Then,
Mayor, I have one thing. I was asked about last council meeting, I believe it was, about the permit fees, and my understanding was we was going to have it this meeting, but if I get questioned, are we going to address that anytime soon, or?
you talking about the waiver issue?
Well, the
or-
permits, the building permits, and
Oh,
Inspection fees.
inspection fees.
Just need direction on that. What do you want us to do?
we probably, how pressing of an issue is it?
I don't think it's pressing, but I was asked about it.
I'd rather talk about that at our next work session
Okay.
in August then.
They're also, just as a we'd like to do a post-mortem on the fireworks ordinance.
Okay.
Some of the feedback we've had from the public about the first year with the new ordinance.
Okay. Okay. Anything else under future agenda planning? There being none, item number 26 is adjournment.
Motion to adjourn, Mayor.
And second?
Second.
Roll call?
Johnson?
Aye.
Weston?
Aye.
Sharbit?
Aye.
Schultz?
Aye.